standard. Do you condemn what Hamas did then over the? I know you will condemn and have condemned the actions of the Israeli government, but the slaughter of so many people and the kidnapping of elderly women and young children, do you condemn that?
Listen, Dave, I have been on CBC for maybe 3 or 4 times in the past couple of days, and I've seen, witnessed you having the Israeli ambassador multiple times coming, and not in one of those conversations have you asked him to condemn, if he condemns the killings of entire families, children, women, elders. When you do so, please call me back, and then we'll talk and answer that question.
Well, I asked him about those issues earlier and how he can justify it and how he thinks the world will view it, because we're about to enter what appears to be, if you listen to the words of Benjamin Netanyahu, a very aggressive response into the Gaza Strip. And we're going to see some pretty horrible images coming out of there.
Justified, because the international community gave a green light to Israel to do them, to more than 2 million people who are living under siege for a decade and a half. It could be justifiable for the international community because it needs to stay the steadfast ally of Israel. But instead of helping war and devastation, there needed to be a hard stand towards peace. If you've just pushed Israel to implement international law and did not block the organs that would have Israel pay for have accountability towards all the war crimes committed and the atrocities.
Look, Mr. Abu Amara, I appreciate there is a long and difficult history here, and I am not trying to minimize any of that. But I guess I feel like our humanity has to go in a lot of directions, right? That you can advocate for a better life for Palestinian civilians and also be horrified by what we've seen from Hamas, and also potentially be horrified from what we're about to see in the response to what Hamas has done in the last 48 hours, right?
You are allowing the response. You are supporting the response. Listen, if you don't want to talk about the double standards, I want to ask you, where was the international community, and where was the Western media when the pogroms happened by settlers on Palestinians? You didn't have live coverage when homes were burnt. Well, kids were in them running around like crazy when they were shooting at cars and shooting at people. And if a Palestinian had to defend themselves, then the army would come in and do its job of terrorizing and imprisoning. You haven't mentioned that today a boy in Palestine was burnt almost to death and saved by a brave person who jumped in and took him out of the captivity. We are seeing right now in all of the West Bank these terror extension settlers running a rampage. And what did the international community do? Support giving them thousands of M16s, while they know that they will use them on stolen land, on terrorized people. So yes, you can have humanity on both sides. And I started by saying how every life counts, and mostly civilian. But justice needs to prevail, and justice cannot be in for some and selective.